Well, that was quite an incredible video.
Yeah, well, would you like a demonstration, a judo demonstration?
We were thinking about it, but I'm wearing a dress, so we don't know if judo flipping is such a good idea. All right, Peter, you have had such a remarkable journey, not just as an athlete, but as an advocate for Israel on the world stage. And so I want to start with there. You know, October 7th didn't just change Israel. It also changed how Israelis are seen, right? So now when you walk onto the judo mat, you're not just walking on as an Israeli athlete, you're walking on as an Israeli athlete in a post-October 7th world. What is that like? What is it like to compete as an Israeli athlete today?
So I can answer that question in a short story. You know, we always, as an Israeli athlete, we always had incidents such as you mentioned. And there was a very specific incident I remember 2-3 months before the Olympic Games. I was in my last competition in Kazakhstan, a Muslim country, going downstairs in the hotel, and I see one of my colleagues. I'm approaching to him, want to hug him, and I wanted to shake his hand, and he's stopping me, and he looked at my hand, then he looked straight to my eyes, and he says, "I'm not shaking hands with terrorists." No. So I was very ashamed of that. As an Israeli athlete, I'm representing not only the Israeli nation, I'm representing the whole Jewish community all around the world.
You know, I think I can speak for some in this audience and say that I'm sure many have lost friends over the divisive atmosphere we've been in. I know I have. Sports is supposed to be the neutral zone, right? Where that geopolitics isn't brought in, but we all know that's rarely a reality. So have you seen a change in how some of your sports friends have treated you? Maybe some of them are actually being nicer, I don't know, that's a hope, but how people have treated you, just friends in the sports world.
For me, athletes and sportsmanship should be a bridge between nations. It should be unite people. It should be, you know, it's the language everyone knows and speaks. So I was and still, and I will always be that kind of athlete that wants to shake hands, even with athletes that represent countries that were not with normalization and partners like that, you know, like Arab countries. And in 2018, before Abraham Accords, in a Grand Slam placed in Abu Dhabi, you know, UAE. Even though we never fight with UAE, but we had no normalization. So I won a gold medal over there, and it was the first time ever that the Israeli Hatikva was. I was singing the Israeli Hatikva first time on Arab land, and the flag, the Israeli flag, was it was placed so high, and it was a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful moment of sportsmanship, overcoming all the politics. Yeah, one of the most impactful moments in my life, in my career.
Another very impactful moment was the Paris Olympics. You had the distinct honor of being the flag bearer, and we saw in the video. This was the first time in Olympic history where the opening ceremony was not held in a closed stadium. It was held out in the open along the river. And obviously with the threats to your life, what were you thinking about when you were, you know, bearing that Israeli flag? And, you know, there was so much global scrutiny and threats to your life. What was the weight of that moment, and how did you kind of process it and work through it?
First of all, carrying that flag was a childish dream. Really, as a young athlete, I always look at the opening ceremony, and whoever hold the flag, I always thought to myself, could it be me one day? And when the Israeli Olympic Committee chose me to be that athlete, to be the Israeli flag holder, flag bearer. I'm not saying the word correctly, right? People correct me, barrier, so it's a bit hard for me. So I changed it to flag holder for everyone to understand. The Israeli flag holder for the whole delegation in the most crucial times of Israel history. It was one of the most powerful moments, even before my big day, my competition day. And yeah, there was fear. I would lie if I said there wasn't. And my wife, she's a police officer. So before I stepped into the plane, she was kind of half joking, half not, saying that when you're going to start hearing shooting, it's not if, it's when, because Donald Trump got shot in his ear two weeks before the opening ceremony. So she said, like, if nobody can secure his his life, how can they secure your, like, and like you said, it's in open air, in the Seine River, so there was a fear. But when I stepped into the boat with my 2 feet, everything disappeared. So I felt that in front of billions of people that are now watching the opening ceremony, this is my mission. This is the most important thing I can do for my country, to hold the Israeli flag high and proudly on that boat.
I also want to just get in your mind for a second about when you were actually in the Olympic Games, because, you know, obviously there were the threats to your life, but I can imagine, I'm not an Olympic athlete, but that...
Not yet.
That you have to get in a real mindset and you're focused on the competition and your competitor, but you also had all of this other stuff going on. So, and then you go and you win the bronze medal. How did you kind of push all of that away or focus? Because we all know that so many of the people in the audience are surrounded by people who make so much noise all the time in your face. How did you push those people out? Maybe what would you share with everybody here about that?
So first of all, as the most threatened athlete in the Olympic Games, a title I would easily give away. Confronting that, it was very hard to prepare with these circumstances. And as an example, regular athletes, were driving the regular bus towards the training sessions daily. And I had my own delegation, 2-3 private vehicles with my French special forces guarding me. And it was kind of cool in the beginning, but eventually it made me hard to prepare and to be focused. And about my competition day, I knew that I'm guarded and I felt very secure. But I was mentally prepared. I was mentally prepared for any incidents, such provocation. I knew that nobody can, 99.9%, nobody will shoot me in the arena while I'm fighting. But someone could throw a bottle, or someone could throw a toilet paper, you know, a wet toilet paper. So I knew that I need to remain calm and focused, no matter what.
Like I said, there are a lot of students in the room, and we know that campuses have become the new battleground. Standing up and defending Israel requires courage, resilience. It comes with consequences now. What would you advise the students in the audience about where to find that courage from?
First of all, learn judo.
I think Peter's giving classes tomorrow morning.
You want me to be your coach? Yeah? Okay. Michael, we should do that project, I think, right? Jokes on the side, I think that really you should take some courses, some lessons, judo, jiu-jitsu, Krav Maga, it doesn't matter. Yeah, right? And when you do that, you get yourself physically stronger, but also mentally stronger. and then you can be more fearless, and you can keep your head high and wear the Judaism and Zionism more proudly, not fearing anything.
You could be out there competing and winning awards. You don't have to be here advocating for Israel or advocating for the Jewish people. Why do you do this work?
First of all, I think that this is my responsibility as a world globe athlete. I have my social media platform. I have a lot of followers all around the globe, especially from people from Muslim countries. So I felt in the beginning of the war, I felt that this is my responsibility to show our story to the world and to use my social media platform. And it doesn't matter how many followers I'm gonna lose. And I lost some, I didn't care about nothing. I just cared about putting our story on the front, and I do that ever since.
So what's next for you, Peter? Are you doing more advocacy, more competitions?
First of all, I'm touring right now, and starting here in Stand With Us. You guys are amazing, really. Shout out to Stand With Us. Come on. Secondly, before we talk about the future, let's talk about the past. As a young athlete, I struggled a lot financially. I tried to do everything. I'm not coming from a money family, so I did all myself, and I tried to support myself financially. I worked as a bouncer at night shifts. I did night shifts, I slept in my car for months, and eventually I collapsed. I couldn't make it. I injured, and only when I separated in my mind, I separated the financial problem, and I could only focus on my professional career, I managed to win. So the first thing I did when I came back from Paris Olympics, I established my foundation, Paltchik Foundation, to support the young generation of Olympic athletes and to give them $15,000 scholarship per year. And I chose, thank you. We chose 10 athletes. Last week we had a beautiful ceremony, and we gave them the first scholarships, and it was beautiful to see in their eyes the hope we gave them, and we got blessed. They will have a little bit less financial problems, and with that platform we're gonna build the next generation of Olympic athletes and the next generation of Israeli worldwide sports ambassadors, right?
And win more medals. One final question for you. This looks like an audience of doers, not just listeners. So what's one action item that everybody in this audience should go home and do tomorrow?
As a young kid, my grandfather, he's the one who raised me, and he always said to me one sentence. He said to me that you should be the doer, yeah, not the reactor. So we need to change the mindset. We need to program ourselves differently. We need to do. We need to take action. We need to decide that each and every one of us have the responsibility, have the power to change his own environment and to start that little change to make a bigger impact and to make a bigger change in our whole nation, in the Israeli nation, of course, the whole Jewish community around the world. And I did my change. Winning that Olympic medal. This is my impact and my change for all the Israel nation and for the whole Jewish nation around the world.
Well, I think you might have inspired some future judo Olympians, possibly. Thank you, Peter, for being a fighter, not just for victory on the Olympic stage, but also for all the values that we hold dear.
Thank you, Jackie, and thank you guys. Thank you for having us.